Hi, everyone. This is Ms. Olson, counselor at St. Charles North. I'm here to walk seniors through the basic college application process. All seniors will meet with their counselor in a one-on-one setting this fall. So questions that you might have as you navigate this presentation, you should forward to your counselor. Naviance is the platform by which we'll be sending transcripts and other college application documents this year. We are no longer using Career Cruising. If you've requested a transcript through Career Cruising, you'll need to re-request your transcript in Naviance. Everyone was sent their Naviance contact information by Mr. Peters last week. So please take time to log in and set up your account. Reach out to your counselor if you're experiencing any difficulty. The final list of schools you're applying to, ideally that's about 5 to 8 schools, should be added to the tab called Colleges I'm Applying to in Naviance. Determine what materials you will need for each application. Some schools may require letters of recommendation. Some schools are test optional, and some schools require a counselor recommendation. If you need a letter of recommendation from a teacher or counselor, it's a good idea to give your recommender plenty of time, perhaps a few weeks, to complete your letter. Generally, you should be providing the recommender what schools the letter's for, specifically what your future plans are, your past experiences both at school and outside of school. The more information you provide, the more rich the letter provided for you will be. Make sure you're giving your recommender plenty of time. When it comes to college applications, buffer is your friend. If the application is due November 1st, ask for your letters to be complete a week or so at least ahead of that deadline to make sure you don't miss it. Beginning your process the day before a deadline is a recipe for disappointment. Take time to organize your materials and be ready to be on time. There are times close to major deadlines that Naviance can slow down. Trying to send transcripts the night before a deadline will not work. You want your schools, of those 5 to 8 or 3 to 6 at a minimum schools, to be a good fit for you. A balance between schools that your grades exceed admissions expectations, meet expectations, and maybe 1 or 2 dream schools where you may be reaching to get admitted is important. Think of that children's story, Goldilocks and the Three Bears. Too hot might be the schools that are hardest to get into. Think like your MITs, your Harvards, your Yales. Too cold might be schools that you consider safe, where you exceed the admission requirements. And just right might mean that your grades match just about the average of the admitted applicant for that institution. When you look up a college in Naviance, you can see the middle 50th percentile of admitted freshmen of the previous year. Compare your data the best that you can to see if that school is hot, cold, or just right. Many schools are going test optional for this year given the pandemic. Students should check the websites of the schools they're applying to get more information and about what that means for you. This could impact admissions and also merit-based scholarships. Reading the directions for all applications is very important. There's no such thing as too long didn't read for college application information. Students are responsible for sending all of their documents and application pieces to their schools. Parents are loving and helpful people, but it's the responsibility of the high school student to manage their application. It's part of that evidence that you're mature enough and ready to go away to college and be independent. You should be taking ownership and balancing your time to get this done. Meeting with seniors has been happening so far in the school year and will continue. And pieces of advice that counselors have given include things like take small steps and have weekly goals between now and your deadline. This way, it's not going to feel overwhelming to do everything all at once. Instead of feeling like you have 20 essays to write, it might feel better to say, I have 3 essays this week that I need to draft and complete. Make sure all of the documents and materials you send to universities are free from errors. Whether it's fair or unfair, if you misspell or use poor grammar in your documents, the college uses that as evidence to judge your application. use print preview and a second set of eyes to reread everything that you send. The Common Application allows students to complete one online application for multiple institutions. Not every school uses the Common App, and it's important to research which of your schools are using the Common Application prior to completing the Common Application itself. If of your list of schools only one of your schools uses the Common Application, it can sometimes be better to use directly the college's application instead of the Common Application. Other times, schools might only use the Common Application. When you go into Naviance and add a college to the Colleges I'm Applying To tab, you should be able to designate how you're going to apply to that university. If you need help, ask your counselor with this process. There's another organization called the Coalition that is similar to the Common App in that it's a group of colleges that use a common form. This form doesn't link as intuitively with Naviance as the Common App does. So if you're applying to a coalition school, make sure you check in with your counselor and you can work through how to use that platform. When you add schools to the Colleges I'm Applying To tab, it will list how your school's applications are sent. Check to see if there's a CA logo next to the school. If you're using the Common Application, your teacher recommendations, counselor recommendation, and transcripts are all sent via Naviance. We'll be sending all records for the Common App through Naviance this year. If you've already set up your Common App account and submitted your application before the school year started, good for you. If you sent requests to recommenders in the Common App, you may hit a small roadblock for connecting Naviance with the Common App. Reach out to your counselor today to walk through how to fix any connection errors between Naviance and the Common App. There is an order of operations when it comes to completing college applications. First, you need to submit the application and then request your transcripts. Students completing the Common Application know that the completion of that application takes some time. There are generally multiple essays to work on prior to submitting. Some schools even require additional essays via supplements in the Common App. For the Common App to work with Naviance, you must connect the two accounts using the email address you used for the Common App website and your date of birth. It's important to complete the FERPA waiver on the Common App website prior to attempting to connect these programs. To request transcripts to any school, add the schools in your final list, Colleges I'm Applying To, in Naviance. Once there, you can click on a button called Request My Transcripts. Later, you'll be able to see the confirmation of when the transcripts were sent and received by the institution. Keep a close eye on your counselor's Google Classroom page for updates about college applications as the semester goes on. It's important to note that until all of the pieces of your application are received, we can't send your transcript. So for the Common Application, until your counselor letter, counselor evaluation, and teacher recommendations and teacher evaluations as appropriate are received, we can't send your transcripts until we have them all. Speaking of letters of recommendation, how would you go about requesting one? Well, you go in Naviance to the Colleges tab and click Apply to College. On the bottom, there's an option to choose Letters of Recommendation. When it takes you to the Letters of Recommendation screen, click the Add Request button, and this allows you to pick the teacher you've asked to write you a letter in a drop-down menu. Then choose what college that letter is for, or if you're going to use that letter for all of your schools. If you're looking for the letter to go to all of your schools, make sure that your teacher knows this so they can address the letter appropriately. Include a personal note as well. Please be patient with your teachers as they are returning to using Naviance after a couple years of having not used Naviance. If you need a letter from your counselor, please reach out to them directly. They will explain their process for gathering information. There are two places where you will have the greatest opportunity to learn about and receive scholarships: your high school, St. Charles North, and universities. Financial aid through college can be merit-based. Generally, this is assessed via the information provided in your application, sometimes supplemental information, and it could also be athletics or other special skills you possess. Here at St. Charles North, we'll be updating Naviance under the Scholarships tab for all of our local scholarship opportunities. Deadlines, application documents, and other supplemental materials will be available under the Scholarships tab. If you look on this slide, there's a list on the third bullet point of some common online scholarship sites. These web-based resources are places to start for scholarships available to a wider audience. Other places where scholarships are available are often at your parents' workplace. If you're writing a lot of essays for your college application, save them in your Google Drive because many of the same prompts for a fall application are very similar to the prompts for a scholarship application. The FAFSA form, the free application for federal student aid, is an online formula that parents and students complete and send to the universities of the student's choice. The university then communicates later in the spring financial awards based on family's need or student's merit. When you receive an award letter, you decide what financial aid you want to accept and which financial aid you want to decline. To sum things up, applying to college is like a part-time job. Scheduling time for yourself and setting weekly goals helps this process feel manageable. Waiting until the last minute creates unnecessary stress in your life. Sign up to see your counselor for your senior meeting if you haven't already. Email us anytime if you get confused about any part of this process. It's our job, and we are very happy to help you. Additionally, we've added a new resource to our college and career readiness webpage called Application Resources. You can find it by navigating to the CCR website from the North webpage and then looking on the left side of the page. You can find lots of great information and reminders along with video-based supports to review common parts of the college application process. Thank you so much for your time and good luck, seniors, class of 2021, with your college applications.